Baz.
What?
It's the off season.
Yeah.
How much longer till spring ball?
April 26th. It was just announced the other day.
I hate you so much. What is going on, everyone?
So Mark needs to hurry up.
All right. That's a whole different conversation. Sorry we're late, everyone. Spaz is watching basketball. I refuse to watch because I will jinx that basketball team into oblivion. And so I have removed myself from Oregon basketball completely over the last couple of years. But thank you for tuning in or watching later. We appreciate it a lot here on the Oregon channel of the Voice of College Football. If you can, please, it's free. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't mean you have, committed anything to us. But if you can, hit the like button. Consider subscribing to keep up with Oregon content here on this channel during the off season, and especially during the regular season and post games. Again, it's free, so it doesn't hurt, but it helps grow the channel, and we appreciate it a lot. How are you doing tonight, Spaz, though?
I'm okay. Enjoying a chill Wednesday evening.
Well, you just said the Ducks basketball team won, so
yep,
a nail biter. Was that at Iowa or was that at home?
Yeah, it was at Iowa.
Oh, at Iowa. Okay. Then you always take a road win, even in a close one. You always take a road win, and they need that. I know they do need that if they want to, keep up with their seeding.
Yeah,
projected seeding, anyways, because they were on like a downhill slide for a while.
Yeah, that rough January.
So that's always good. And Dane Altman needs that. Just, what does Twitter say? He fixes Rubik's cubes or something like that. Isn't that what they were saying?
He aligns Rubik's cubes.
He aligns Rubik's cubes.
His cubes have not been aligning.
Not yet. So Jackson always. Jackson creeps every show, even the Rutgers show. So Spaz, we haven't had a lot of news as it's obviously the off season. Transfer portal's closed for now. But obviously, as I talked about last week while you were sick, hopefully you're feeling quite a bit better. It looks like it.
A little bit,
yeah. It's 28 degrees here in Houston again. And it's going to be colder tomorrow.
Yeah, it's snowing in a lot of parts of Texas.
Yeah, it was 30 all day today. I was like, what in the hell just happened? And it's going to get colder tomorrow. I'm like, well, as long as it's not wet, I might go to work. If it's wet outside and 28 degrees, I'm going to be like, sorry, not coming in. Right. I'll join the 9 a.m. meeting or whatever on our laptop. But I'm like, no, screw that. So, transfer portal is closed. Obviously, recruiting kind of at a dead period. There is recruiting news, and I think we'll save that for a couple weeks from now as we hear more, because these are the 2026 guys. But Oregon's good standing for a couple of them. So that's good news. Good news for Oregon. The only news was, as we talked last week, or when I did, was the Dallas Cowboys need to lay off our coaching staff. Your Dallas Cowboys need to back the hell off. They already tried to take samples from us, our running back coach. He said no, basically. Or they didn't fully offer, one or the other. I'm not sure what, but he said he was coming back to Oregon. And so then they go get Junior Adams, the wide receiver.
Yep.
The Dallas Cowboys would not be denied an Oregon coach, I guess, on that staff.
Yeah, apparently.
But samples had already been offered. Well, not offered, but he'd been mentioned and talked about and interviewed, I guess, for the Sam Houston job, formerly Sam Houston State, because obviously he's a Texas native, so that was big. Same with Junior Adams; they have Texas connections. But Junior Adams leaves, wide receivers coach. for Oregon. And what does Dan Lanning do?
Goes out and steals a Syracuse ex-NFL receiver.
You were supposed to follow that up with he aligns Rubik cubes.
Oh,
come on, man!
He just goes and makes.
I let you. I set you up for it too.
Yeah.
And this is not a name everyone knows. I had to look him up too, and we're kind of a couple days behind, obviously, on this stuff. But this, if you saw what Syracuse did this last season, they had the number one passing offense in college football.
Yeah, they did.
And that was after Ohio State ran off Kyle McCord.
And
Kyle McCord went to Syracuse. And do you know what he threw for this last year?
Close to 5,000 yards.
4,779 yards. Do you know what Dylan Gabriel threw for this last
Ohio
year?
State career.
Yeah, do you know what Dylan Gabriel threw for?
42.
38.57. Kyle McCord almost threw for 1,000 yards more in one less game.
Yeah.
That's and of course you have to credit oh my god. How did his name just go away from my mind? The coach. Frey?
No.
I literally just had his name on my mind, and
it's Fran, isn't it? Fran.
Thank you. I was like, it's not Frey. Yeah, Fran Brown. Obviously, you have to credit the head coach, and then of course the offensive coordinator, and then Kyle McCord for throwing the ball. But who has to catch the ball?
I don't know any of their receivers.
Yeah, Fran Brown. Yeah. Well, that's we're going to get into that further. Don't worry, I got you. So, but again, you have to credit, Fran Brown. You have to credit the OC, and you have to credit Kyle McCord because Kyle McCord is the one who has to throw the ball. But again, who has to catch the ball? It's got to be the receivers, right?
Yeah.
So, when you look at this is kind of the thing. So, before we get into Syracuse, you are correct. So Ross Douglas, he's from Ohio. That's where he grew up. He was a 3-star cornerback recruit. So he played cornerback, but he was only a 3-star, and he went to Michigan. I guess never really found his path there. So he left and he went to Rutgers for a couple years. That's where he graduated from. Didn't get drafted. Not shocking. This was in 2017. This was the 2018 NFL draft. Rutgers was not great at that point. That was the Rutgers slump again. So he went back to Rutgers though, and played under Chris. At that point, Chris Ash, who is now the Notre Dame defensive coordinator. Then he stuck on with Graciano. Ended up going to help assist or be an analyst. I believe it was it an analyst. Let me see here one quick. Quality control. Sorry, quality control with the Patriots under Bill Belichick. Then he coached 2 years of wide receivers, basically at New England. Then he took the Syracuse wide receiver coaching job after their coaching change.
And well, it'll be interesting to see because the guy that nobody really knows a lot about.
He's
New
only
England.
he's only 30.
Yeah, again, another young hire for Dan Lanning.
Yeah, he's a young guy.
He likes the young guys. I don't think he's got anybody on his staff over 40.
I think we have an analyst that's over 40.
But I mean, yeah, they're all young guys. And this guy apparently likes to throw the ball. As long as Will Stein gets rid of the check downs and the screens, this could be a very flighty year for Oregon. They could get a few 1,000-yard receivers if this guy lets Dante throw the ball.
Well, and that's the interesting thing with him, because of course he's got to come. He's still not at Oregon right this second. I think he's going to be there in like a week to start building some relationship. That's kind of his key thing. He's got to build relationships, because one of the fears was, well, what happens with Decorey and Moore? One of the things with Decorey and Moore is those samples really kind of help get him because of the ties to Texas. So
yeah, I don't
as
think
far as I'm aware, Decorey and Moore is all in.
Yeah, we're not losing anybody. At least not this year, I don't think. Maybe spring portal, we might lose a guy or two, but if we do, I think they're going to be low end depth guys.
Yeah, that's something we're going to bring up a little bit later, I think, too, is the spring portal is going to be maybe interesting for another group specifically. But do you know what the for instance, what do you think the highest receiving yardage was this last season on the team
for Oregon?
Yes.
Did we even have 1,000-yard receiver this year?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Now, a lot of that was random injuries and suspensions, Spitgate and stuff like that. But what do you think the highest receiving yardage was? Not much of an answer.
Sorry, what?
What was the highest yardage, the receiving yardage for a player this last season?
Yeah, probably around 900.
898. Tez Johnson, even after missing like 2 games.
Yeah.
So he would have broken 1,000. Trayshawn was 718. Evan Stewart 613. Ferguson 591. So you see the drop off, though. It's spaced nicely, but obviously there was a significant drop off from Tez to Trayshawn. And obviously Stewart's back this year. The thing with Syracuse, obviously Fran Brown just came in, new OC, all that stuff. So there's you got to take what it is. What was their? Do you know what their leading receiver was? What their yardage was?
Probably 1,100.
1,021.
Oh.
But
so
do you know?
They were really spread.
They were very well spread out in the top 3. They were very well spread out. But these are not like redshirt freshmen or true freshmen or something like that. These were like guys that have been around a little bit. Do you know what their top receiver, Jackson Meeks, season high was before the 1,021 season this last year?
400.
His high was in 2022, 65 yards. 44 in 2021, 65 in 2022, and 23 in 23. Now, I think he was injured in 23. I think he was a little injured, but then he goes to Syracuse, boom, 1,021 yards. There's a correlation here. There's a correlation. Hold on, we're not done yet. Their next leading receiver, 941 yards. Pena. He had 941 yards. Do you know what his next high was?
200.
You are right. 2023, he had 203 yards. So he
Jeez.
jumped over 700 yards. Do you know what their third receiver was? It was Gadsden, tight end. He had 934 yards this last season, a tight end. Do you know what his next high was?
140.
So in 2022, he was a transfer. He was one of the transfers. In 2022, he had actually 969 yards.
Oh,
In 2023, he only had 67. So he's obviously one of those few that's actually looked like they had a potential. But there's some weird years here. And I guess 2021, he was either redshirting because he only had 24 yards. And then 2023, maybe he got injured. I'm not sure. Or the offense.
Oh, no.
What?
Look what I found.
Was this the Mayo Bowl? We're not doing the Mayo Bowl here, are we? The point is, yeah, you have 1,021 yards, 941, 937, 570, 521, 273, 202, and then you have a bunch of the other lower number contributors. It's going to be interesting. I think this could be, and don't take me away. I love Junior Adams. Junior Adams done great. He did great as the Oregon wide receiver coach. But this could be like that next step in the Oregon
Yeah,
passing
especially
game.
in our passing game. Yeah.
Because if you can do that with guys going to Syracuse, just think what you could do with Evan Stewart, Decorian Moore. If you can keep, you have Justice Lowe. If you can keep Kyler Casper healthy, you're going to have Gary Bryant, Jerry Dickey. Not Janoris Wilson. He no lineman. Kind of caught me off guard. I was like, Janoris Wilson. Why is he on this list even? That's right. He caught the one touchdown. I was like, wait, why is he on this list? You're gonna have all these guys, and then you still have McClellan. The amount. Did you just shit yourself? I'm making sure. Just checking on your health and well-being.
I had to blow my nose.
The amount of talent that he can have at Oregon compared to Syracuse. I mean, holy shit, this receiving core could be amazing if they produce, but he's obviously shown that he can take guys even to Syracuse and take them to almost career highs or matching career highs from a down year, so I kind of like it. I'm okay with it. I have no problem with it.
Yeah, totally.
He falls in line exactly. You said he's another young guy. That's a Dan Lanning special, it seems. He seems to be able to pick guys out really good. So every choice he's made thus far has been outside of no, I think almost everyone he's picked has been pretty much a great decision. I think I want to say someone said a few days ago, I heard on another cast, they were like, well, what about this guy in the first year? And he was like an analyst or something like that. And, he laughed. But it's an analyst. Not that big of a deal. But position coach wise, he has made pretty good choices.
I had a feeling that was you that messaged me.
Yeah. It's like 20 minutes ago. I was like, wakey, you're late.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Ross Douglas, welcome to the Ducks. I'm looking forward to it because the talent he'll have here is way beyond Syracuse. Sorry, Syracuse, but
Yeah, totally.
how long will he stay? I don't know. Because that was the question we had was, or is Samples going to stay the running back coach, or is he going to maybe become the wide receiver coach?
There was a lot of bitching. Well, why didn't we just put Samples as wide receivers coach?
Well, and because then you'd have to go find a running back coach, and then maybe they're going to give Samples a raise or a co-offensive coordinator type of title for a raise. We don't know. Yeah. Anyways,
and it's a good possibility that he leaves next year, and if Stein leaves next year,
yeah,
obviously Samples is, in my mind, your next OC.
Potentially. I do think Stein will, depending on how this next season goes, Stein definitely will not be around after 2026. If he stays the 2026 season, at that point he'll be gone. Definitely, 100%. He will not stay more than 3 to 4 years total. He'll get a head coaching job somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we haven't gotten to spring practice yet, which is coming up soon. Not quite there, but coming up soon. And I think everyone has the same question marks that we all do. Is I think we're all under the impression, and it's the most important position, and it also will dictate our passing game this season, especially with bringing in Ross Douglas. That's why it was kind of an important thing to do. I mean, is Dante Moore really quarterback number one, or is Novosad right there?
It's Dante's.
I mean, I'm not downplaying you or doubting that. I'm just saying this is Novosad's third year in the program, but the Dante Moore did transfer back. Well, not transfer back. He committed, then decommitted, and went to UCLA, and then he transferred to sit for a year. I don't know. I mean, oh, you're gonna go to the spring game. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll be at the spring game for sure. Hopefully, if somebody gets some credentials, I'll be at a couple practices, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. We're gonna see how that works out. That's a little more offline, but yeah, we'll see how that works out. Like I said, nothing promised. We didn't see anything this. I mean, the only thing outside of last spring game, that was the only thing of Dante Moore you'd seen. Obviously, he started at UCLA in 2023. It was rough, to say the least, for a true freshman. Not surprising for it to be rough. 53%, 1,600 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Not surprising.
Yeah, Frankeny, there's no charge.
Isn't it just bring a can of food? Bring a can of food usually? Yeah.
They want people to bring food. That's it.
Yeah, donation, basically.
I didn't even bring any last year. I just walked in.
Yeah. Cheapskate. You probably stole the canned food.
Yeah, I was pretty drunk.
Shocking. Shocking.
However, I wasn't as drunk as as Nick Cody was by the end of the game. Holy shit. Nick could barely walk across the street.
Oh, God. Everyone hoping that big man across the way. But yeah, like Troy said, yeah, again. Not many true freshmen do very good. And it was UCLA. Not like they were a very good team. They were all right. They were an all right team that year, but not like great. But at Oregon, we haven't seen anything out of Dante Moore except for this last spring game. And Nova Sad, we've seen 2 spring games from. But you didn't see much of either of them in the regular season, as they alternated their reps to keep red shirts available.
Yeah.
Which was smart by the coaching staff, obviously, to not burn a year of eligibility from anyone. Because Dante, I mean, and both of them were solid this last year. I mean, I guess. Nova said only had 2 passes. They were both completions for 7 yards.
Oh, by the way, Frankie, you're driving.
Oh, God. Well, she'll be drunk too.
Oh, make Michael drive then.
Dante only had 8 attempts. He completed 7 of them for 49 yards. So it's not like we saw anything massive. Most of that was the random garbage time that we actually got to see this last year. So it's not like we saw anything amazing. But I do wonder if that means they do think highly more of Dante, giving him 8 pass attempts compared to only 2 for Nova Sad. Don't know. It's not much difference, but still.
Oh, yeah. Dante will be just fine in this system.
Well, there better be a quarterback competition. I do think that Nova Sad's been there, and he's looked good. I mean, you're going to see Moga play in the spring game too.
Oh, yeah.
He's just a raw passer. He doesn't. He's more the dual threat, but just doesn't quite have that technique in the throwing game. But then again, maybe he's really improved too. That was last year. We don't know. We haven't seen him at all. He's not even on the depth chart for this last season statistically at all. So we don't know. I guess the question is, so statistically, or not statistically, I guess, in overall standard, when Oregon starts a quarterback in the spring game, the starting quarterback, that usually turns out to be the starter, hasn't it been?
Yeah, usually.
It was like Bo Nix, Dylan Gabriel, when Justin Herbert, after he took over the starting year in 2016, or no, 2017 rather. Usually the starting quarterback in the spring game has been ended up number 1. So what if they start Nova Sad?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't think there's any doubt that it's going to be Dante's team to run. Sure, you'll have your competition, but unless he gets hurt or just flat out sucks, I don't think there's any reason that you take it from him.
Well, and that's fair. And I'm not arguing the whole point of should Dante be number 1 or not, because I do think the same thing. I think he is going to be the number 1 quarterback and the starter. But what we've seen of it was also to while I say it was to obviously more experienced wide receivers, where this year we're going to have a bunch of newer faces. At the same time, yeah, I can't complain with his accuracy either. He puts the ball in good position, in good spots. But so is Noah Sad when we've seen him. What little we've gotten to see him, mostly obviously spring games, which don't really necessarily mean anything in some degree, but
Yeah.
so it will be. It's going to be interesting. I do agree. I think it is Dante Moore. That's why he came back to Oregon, sat a year, and tried to develop and learn. But again, Novosad, this is his third year. So you'll be interested in seeing his development too. Same with Moga. In Moga's is this his second year?
Yeah.
Redshirt,
Yeah,
then a redshirt freshman. This is a sophomore year.
Yeah, he got a little bit of run on that last year.
Yeah, again, he's not on the depth chart this last season at all. That's why I was like, oh yeah, Moga's there. I forget. You forget about Moga. So we were talking about that. You brought it up. Spring portal. So what happens if there's a strong feeling after the spring game that Dante Moore is the starter? Will Oregon lose Novosad?
I don't think so, just because he's a Stein guy. I think Novostad's.
Well, no, didn't we brought him in? We brought him in with Dillingham, didn't we? We got him to transfer him or flip from Baylor with Dillingham, didn't we?
No, I thought he came from with Stein.
Did he come with Stein? So he's only been there 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and he has at least one redshirt year. Okay, so never mind. I should probably let me double check this. Yes, right now it says he's still a freshman. So he's at least a redshirt freshman now, technically. So okay, cool.
Yeah.
I thought he'd been there 3 years. So okay, so he doesn't have that much up on Dante, technically, as much as I thought.
Dante's got the better arm. Novostad probably has the legs. I do think there are some packages that you could use this year, where you could see some read options with Novostad under center, maybe. I think he's got the better mobility. Dante can run, but I think as if you saw the spring game last year, Novostad had a couple of big runs. I think one was like a 40-yard run for a score in the spring game last year.
Yeah, Novosad and Moga have the legs.
Yeah,
of the two, they definitely
Dante Moore just has an arm. He's got a fucking cannon. That guy, but he can move too. I saw him. He had that 90 some yard last play fucking touchdown run last year in the spring game. So he can move, but he's definitely got an arm, and he can wing it on a fly 50 yards like it's nothing.
Yeah, the biggest thing this spring too is that's it, because there's going to be so many different faces now again, all across the board, offensively and defensively, where it's going to feel brand new all over again, again.
You got a little bit of an issue with your offensive line, but I don't think it's a lot.
It's if they just don't make the same mistakes they made last year with the starting lineup. Figure it out now and learn from the mistake before. And that was something we're going to deal with. We're going to see if Alik Terry can figure this out because we did lose. His name is escaping me right now. We did lose an offensive, our offensive lineman analyst. His name is escaping me. He went back to the Beavers.
Kavanaugh, Mike Kavanaugh.
Yeah, he used to be there under Mike Riley and stuff. So
yeah, Mike Kavanaugh. So yeah,
but he was a senior guy to kind of guide Alik Terry, because Alik Terry's a younger guy too still. But maybe after a few years, it's like, okay, no, he's got this. Don't worry. So he went back to Oregon State. So that still could be a potentially significant loss, but we're going to find out really quickly, I guess, how much impact he really did have with the O-line.
Yeah, I think we'll be all right.
I'm just hoping spring doesn't open up and we lose someone. Because again, Novosad flipped to Oregon, and then he hasn't really had too much of a shot. If he did, I guess at least we have Moga behind him. But then next year we got Achilles Smith Jr. coming in. Obviously, Oregon is still in line with for the top for Jared Curtis in 2026, which is, ridiculous. They're not backing off getting quarterbacks.
No.
So we're going to lose one or two. We're going to lose a couple.
I think you could see Moga probably transferring after spring window. I just have a feeling.
Oh, he hasn't flipped yet.
Hasn't flipped yet.
Yeah, that was oh God. I literally just looked at it earlier because I'm looking at Oregon has the two top O linemen and then the top quarterback for 2026.
I think it was an O-line guy, wasn't it?
No, it was a quarterback. It was another quarterback. Shit, I have so many tabs open. I'm on the wrong.
Brock Thomas?
No. Incoming. God damn.
Oh, I don't know.
I literally have too many tabs open. I'm trying to find it. I literally just saw it earlier. Don't worry, I got you. There's so many damn recruits. It's hard to keep track of all the names. Even though he's a high level recruit. Okay. No. He's getting flipped maybe to USC. The USC fans are losing their mind.
Led by Tim Pringley.
No, it's a bunch of other arrogant nation mostly. Oh my God, where? Why am I not finding it now? That's annoying when you literally just look at a name and you can't think of what it is.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. They are predicting, but that's not any big news actually. That's been kind of on the radar, especially because Oregon is probably going to potentially get Curtis. So the guy knew he wasn't going to have much of a role.
Jonas Williams.
Oh, there it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Frankeny.
It was something. I was like, this is not a difficult name either. And I just could not remember. And I'm scrolling through and I can't find it again. So I'm like, damn it. Yeah, I think he was like, I'm not going to get playing time, especially if they're going after Curtis. And Curtis is projected to go to Oregon. Like at least they're in the lead for him. So, and then you got Achilles Smith Jr. You have Dante Moore, he could be there for 2 more years. Unless he absolutely goes off this year or something like that and gets projected to be drafted high. He could be there 2 years as a starting quarterback. So,
Yeah, I don't see a lot happening.
It's all I can say is the quarterback position seems to be set up now pretty good. Had to get through a couple years of the transfer stuff, a couple years, with Bo Nix, which is not a bad thing. And you just didn't trust what you had behind you exactly. as we saw with the result of Ty Thompson. Love you, Ty, but yeah, we can see why the coaching staff didn't believe. As he again is now a tight end, I believe. Spaz, stop looking at your phone.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you know how it is.
No, I don't. I don't look at my phone. I have to stare at your ass.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see in the spring game though. I do think it's Dante Moore's show, and that's the whole point. I mean, he could have come sat under Bo Nix and started. And again, I think he learned very quickly, like, oh, I made a mistake. That's why he came back. He transferred to Oregon again, basically to recommit himself because he's like, okay, I'll sit a year. And
yeah, well, and
learn.
with Chip leaving, yeah.
Well, yeah, but also he got benched basically too. So I think he realized, yeah, this wasn't for me. But yeah, with Chip leaving, that definitely solidified. Like, okay, I'm out.
And it could have been that system. It could have just been that system too.
Heavily part of it.
We all know Chip's system is very schematic, has a lot of moving parts. And for some guys, that might be hard to learn on the fly.
Well, like we said, for any true freshman, it's hard to start and be successful and not have growing pains. I mean, look at Dylan Gabriel. Very experienced. You could tell there were some growing pains the first few games, the first like 4 games. Like learning when not to force it in the style of route that was being run, especially goal line. You saw it.
Yeah.
So, and also that's because I think Will Stein was adjusting to a left-handed quarterback. So Will Stein was learning on the fly also a little bit of like what works, what doesn't.
And now we'll be back to normal system with the right-handed quarterback, and you probably won't have as many line issues because it adjusts your line as well. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, because your protection is different. The blind side's different and all that. And this year, at least they know Poncho's center.
Yeah.
They'll start him there this time. Why they didn't start him at center last year, I have no idea. That was like one of the dumbest decisions that they made. I know there was, I think, some dings on the O-line, so they moved him back to like his initial position or whatever,
Well, and don't forget, we got Fox Crater coming in this year too. That can
we have
play that
Worlds.
line.
And we have Worlds coming in.
Worlds, so
we have Pregnant.
Our line will be just fine.
Yeah, the line is not going to be that. I don't think that as concerning this year.
And our depth in the secondary this year is hands down way better than what we've had the last handful of years.
It is woof in
our
the best of ways.
Our secondary this year is going to be sick.
One of the best things I saw earlier, I think it was on it was on 3 with Andy and Ari. And Andy Staples was like, every team fan base seems to have this immediate reaction to our secondary sucks. No matter what they do. And I was like, yeah, that's true. That is true. I think that is true. You give up like a 20-yard pass, you're like, our corner sucks. Yeah, this year will be fun. We got some returning veterans, transfers, and then we got all the young guys coming in. They can at least rotate in I think it'd be very helpful. So we got so we're both agreeing. I think most of the chat here probably agrees. The Oregon people, Dante Moore is going to be QB1. It will be interesting to see though what happens with Novosad, because I don't know. Knowing Akili Smith is coming in next year, and Dante could stay 2 years. Technically, I guess he could stay 3 because he took a red shirt this last year. You know, we're going to lose a quarterback. We're going to lose quarterbacks eventually.
Yeah, eventually they're not going to sit there, 4 or 5 deep.
Oh yeah, no, 3 at most. That's why I don't know if Mogo would go anywhere. To be honest, I don't know. Mogo might just be like, cool. I don't know. You never know.
It'd
Kind
be
of like Ty.
interesting to see. Spring ball is going to be interesting this year.
Yeah, but it was like Ty Thompson. We thought he would leave the year before he did. Finally, I was surprised he stayed another year.
I'm hoping I can get down to some practices this year.
That'd be cool if you can. And like I said, we'll talk about looking at credentials and stuff like that potentially. Obviously, a little time, but see what happens there.
Yeah, I got to send my hook in too, because I've already talked to the SID last year, so
that'd be cool.
Hopefully with
That'd be
Mark
cool.
and my pushing from last year will help.
Yeah, I think what we talked about before was from people was it's consistency. Year 1 is never usually a no-go. Year 2,
Yeah,
they're like, okay, cool. Like now we kind of have seen your name before, kind of thing. And
yep.
so, yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. So Ross, again, Ross Douglas, though.
Welcome to Oregon.
Yeah, I think it was a good get. Again, I don't think we have to worry about everyone's panic about DeCorian's going to leave. Then, like, no, I think DeCorian's he's said he's all in with Oregon. So, I don't think we have to worry a damn thing about that. He knows he's going to have a major role pretty much immediately. And yeah, Ross Douglas, enjoy the weapons that you're inheriting. So
Yeah, enjoy, because you're getting some studs. That's for damn sure.
and that's why I said shout out to Austin Junior Adams. Did a great job. The only thing with Ross Douglas is I don't know if he can recruit very well. We will find out, or whoever the OC is after next year or the year after, and obviously Lanning. I think they all kind of work together on that. So I think they'll bring him up to speed. His recruiting maybe is the only questionable part, but trying to recruit at Syracuse is different than trying to recruit at Oregon also.
Yeah, I think that's been part of the conversation in some of the spaces is that, can he recruit? Can he go into Big Ten country and get some of these guys? And yet people forget that Samples does just as much recruiting as anybody.
Yeah,
so,
he was a huge part of DeCorian Moore.
Huge part, yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing. They'll probably coach him up a bit. They'll see his process. It was only 1 year at Syracuse, so not the biggest sample size. But he is from Ohio, Ross Douglas, so you can get into that in the Midwest and start really
and
screwing
being
with
an Ohio
State.
guy, he might be able to work some Chris Henry Jr. magic, but
yeah,
I still think Henry's staying at Ohio State. I don't think you're going to flip him.
Oh, I'm not even saying that, but you can start getting those Midwestern guys and start screwing up Michigan and Ohio State's recruiting in a certain way. I would have said Penn State, but they can't recruit wide receivers apparently. So
Yeah.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Yep.
So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I like it. Plus, I like the fact he was a defensive back, but now he's a wide receiver coach. Those are the best, the most versatile, because they know what the defender's kind of looking at. So maybe that's also part of why they were so successful with Syracuse. We'll find out real soon. I don't know if we'll see a whole lot of that in spring ball, though, because, I mean, he'll just have gone there and really just started building rapport. So spring game, well, I'm not going to take too much out of too much from the wide receiver room, in a way. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll give him a few months to train the guys up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking next week we're off.
Yeah. It's so hard to do a lot in off season because there's not much to talk.
There's only so much that goes on. Right now we're in the dead period.
Yeah.
We're in a full. I did want to get your take really quick, Spaz, because actually I was going to bring up at the beginning of the show. We talked about it on Sunday night, but you weren't here. You weren't, or there, rather, on the After Dark show. What do you think about the SEC's plan to stop field storming or court storming? Because if you do, the team that does it, they lose the game automatically, even if they won.
What?
Yeah. You haven't seen that?
That's stupid.
Yes, because as I pointed out, that if they did that this last year, for instance, so every time a team won and they stormed the field, they lost. Bama would have been 12-0.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the point of it though. Like, we're trying to stop the field stormings because of certain things, but it's like, why don't you just find a way to mitigate it?
Ohio State and Oregon would have met in the Big Ten title game at that point.
Well, but this is just the SEC talking about it. Just the SEC.
That's just because they're a bunch of crying bitches.
Yeah. I get that. I get there's a bunch of different factors that go into it. Like they're looking at different things like the safety, because you're running on the field with the visiting team there, and the goalpost stuff or whatever. But it's like, stop trying to fuck up college football. I said that's like one of the best things. You're a terrible person. Terrible person. We'll see you in Autzen this season too, by the way.
Yeah, we'll see you in November. Or is it October? I think it's October 22nd.
I have the schedule up here. Well, not actually. I have to change the season. I had stats open. 2020 schedule, bitch. God damn you, ESPN. It is, yeah. Oh yeah. It's November 22nd.
Yeah, I will be there.
It's like two rivalry weeks back to back. USC and then at Washington.
Yeah.
Oh.
Need to get with Max or Spencer, either one.
For what?
Get them on a show. Max does not have a sponsor no more because Ranchitos was sold. Ruben is in the process of putting a new restaurant together. He sold Ranchitos. So.
Oh. Well, that's news to me. So we should get Max on.
The other day.
We'll get Max on then.
With Max, Spencer, Justin, maybe even.
Yeah, we can get Justin on.
Talk to these guys about practices and how to go about, learning how to run practices and be at practices and things.
Is this true? Did USC cancel their spring game too?
Yeah, but
Like Matt Rule?
I'm gonna die laughing.
Why are the 6-6 teams, or 7-6 rather, I guess, teams canceling the spring practices? Jesus.
Because they suck.
Yeah. Learn to be better. Learn
Yeah.
to be better. Don't destroy a conference for money to suck. There you go. Lessons learned. Damn it, USC. Can't wait to smoke them this next year, hopefully. What? What is going on? What are people doing over here?
They're afraid, man. They're afraid.
Oh my gosh.
They're afraid of the big green train coming in, man.
This is better not be like something that like starts making a huge movement, because it's like
You
one
know
of the
what's
few things they
funny? Trojan fight. You know what's funny? Oregon's not even the number one team in the portal. That's
No,
Mike Elko and Texas A&M.
we're number 5, aren't we?
4 or
Are we
5,
4?
yeah.
4 or 5. It was 4 or 5. We're like 4 or 5th in recruiting, or 4 or 5th in transfer portal. I know we're the only team in the top 5 of both, but this year, but which is funny because we developed quite a few people, including this year's starter, probably Dante Moore, because UCLA was a disaster and he sat for a year to learn. So,
I'm thinking they're just afraid of injuries.
I mean, that's part. It is part of a thing. You don't want to like start spring practices, do a spring game, and get someone freaking with a torn ACL for basically nothing. It is also a concern,
Sure.
So I don't want to downplay that. I do want to fight back with the Trojan fight here. It's funny they ran off their quarterback that they were supposed to develop and make amazing, but then just started transfer quarterback. So,
Shout out Julian Sane.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, they started Maeva, who played before, so I mean, they ran off their quarterback to start a transfer. So, just saying. Oregon's always been the last one to do their game before. Even this is before the spring portal shit. They're always like the last one. They were always the last one in the Pac-12 before the spring portal stuff.
I don't remember.
Oregon always had one of the last spring games, even in the Pac-12.
Yeah,
they were always the last one. Even that was before the whole portal thing changed again. That was just like their schedule. So he's just pulling up conspiracy stuff without actually pulling out facts. Tell Lincoln Riley to coach better, play call better. That's all you need to do. All right. It's best. So we're off next week?
Yep.
Goddamn right. About time I get a damn break. We're off this week, too, for the Sunday night show, so don't show up for After Dark because we're off this week.
Right on.
Everyone else is lazy.
We should just take a month off. There ain't nothing going.
How dare you?
Although Mark would probably have a fit if all his channels took a month off.
Could you imagine if everyone just took a month off?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Mark would probably lose his shit.
You go into the StreamYard like every day and there's nothing for a month. Uh-oh.
Really, Rutgers?
The Fighting Shianos are here.
The Fighting Shianos?
So Spaz, final comments on Ross Douglas and Dante Moore or the quarterback conversation.
Good hire. I think it's. I think it'll work. You got to at least stopgap somewhere, and so he went where he thought experience. Guy coached in the NFL for a couple of years, so hey, never know what you might find diamond in the rough. Dan's good at finding the diamonds in the rough. Nobody really knew who Samples was till he got here. So,
Or Will Stein.
Or Stein, things have happened. We'll see what happens.
I'm in the same way. You could look at his career, obviously not being much of an impact at Michigan as a cornerback, going to Rutgers, kind of hanging out. The Patriots wide receiving coach and stuff wasn't the greatest, but that was a bad staff. Really,
Yeah.
for the Patriots, it wasn't just him; it was just a bad staff in general. But you just saw what he did at Syracuse and the talent he'll have at Oregon compared to Syracuse. Again, yikes! He has the potential. Now, will it work? We're gonna wait and see. I'm not gonna judge anything on the spring game though, because he's only gonna be there for like really about a month to really work with the guys. So I'm not gonna judge spring game too much. We'll have to wait for the regular season really to figure that out. But yeah, Dante Moore, I highly expect him to be quarterback one. I think that's why he came back to Oregon and sat a year.
Yeah, exactly.
So he just didn't want to wait before, and that's the only reason he didn't go to Oregon originally. He didn't want to wait.
Yep.
And he learned the hard way. And so he was like, okay. All right. Then Spaz, I will see you on some other live streams. I will see you in a couple weeks here.
Yeah.
Everyone in the chat. Likewise, you can find us on some other streams. But Spaz, where can this chat find you if they want to follow you?
Right
so
there.
Close. So a little bit more. A little bit more.
It's somewhere over there. Got it. I think.
There you go. Yeah, perfect. Hold it. Right there. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just Ben of Exploring Ben and Sam right here on YouTube. And you can follow me, Exploring with Ben, down in the tab there. I'm not even going to try to point it. I'm dyslexic. See, I knew it. I knew I would do it the wrong way. I'm just like, I'm telling you, I always screw this up too. So
yeah.
Not just you. So yeah, we will see everyone in a couple weeks. So that will be, unless breaking news happens. Let's put it that way. If breaking news happens,
right.
we will be back. We will be back March 5th, as well as the After Dark show. We'll be back March 2nd on the main channel. So again, thank you everyone for being here. Make sure to hit that like button if you haven't. Consider subscribing, and let us know in your comments, or in the comment section rather. Sorry, after this video or later on. Who do you think quarterback number one will be, and why? But until then, we will see you guys in a couple weeks. Same place, same time. And other than that, goodbye.
Quack.